All right, well, let's do a little crowd participation real quick. What would you call someone who killed a person like last week or last month? What would you call them? Murderer. If you said it like Gollum, extra points. Murderer, yes. What would you call somebody if they lied? You like just yesterday. What would you call somebody if they just lied? Liar, yes. How about if somebody stole something? What would you call them? Thief, yeah. What would you call somebody that did not take a Sabbath last week? Busy. Important. They're on that grind, trying to secure the bag, Here's a word you could call them: sinner. Yeah, you're like, this message is terrible already. I'm already not down with whatever you're about to tell me. The fourth commandment is the only commandment that we regularly give ourselves a break on. If I came and said, you know what, I'm really into God, really into Yahweh and Baal. Baal is a lot to have. Baal's pretty cool. Right away, you'd be like, no, you can't do that. I got a little statue in my house, Baal and a Jesus. It's cool. You'd be like, no, don't do that. Hey, I'm going to just go dishonor my parents real fast. You'd be like, no, you don't want to do that. I'm going to take a Sabbath off. You'd be like, oh, yeah, that's fine. You're probably a little too busy to take a Sabbath this week anyway, right? Why do we give ourselves a free pass with one of the 10 commandments where the other 9 seem pretty important? I'm just go ahead and just commit adultery this weekend. It'll be fine. On Monday, we'll just pick up where we left off. You'd be like, bro, no. Well, I'm just not going to practice the Sabbath this week. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Jesus will understand. And this is pretty quiet. I don't know. Matthew 11, Jesus was just talking. He's like, hey, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. For my yoke, take my yoke on you. What is he talking about? Now, a yoke is a piece of farming equipment. This isn't a yoke, but it's going to help us with the illustration. A yoke is a piece of farming equipment where they would attach 2 animals together. That's a stretch. 2 animals together. And the animals, when they are yoked together, they'd be balanced to where they would plow in the same direction. Because if not, you have a stronger animal and a weaker animal, and the plowing kind of happens in circles, And so they say you need to be equally yoked. And this is a really great message for those that are dating. You got a potential partner in your life. You want to be equally yoked. Because if not, one will be pulling towards Jesus, and one will be pulling away from Jesus. But that's another sermon for another time. Jesus said, take my yoke on you because it's actually light. Now, why would he talk about that in terms of being weary and burdened? Because too many of us are not yoked with Christ. We are yoked by fear. Oh, it's going to happen to the economy. Oh, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what in the world's going on. This war. I've prayed more for the Strait of Hormuz this past week than I've ever prayed for in my life. I didn't even know there was a Strait of Hormuz. God, I need some gas. Did you fill up your gas this week? Did anybody feel it? Yeah. You need to start praying for the Strait of Hormuz, if you know what I'm talking about. Oh, it's going to happen to the economy. These gas prices, man. It's groceries. I don't know what's going to happen. Just fear. Many of us are yoked by fear. Some of us are yoked by rage. As soon as you dog on or you turn on your favorite news channel and you're like, I can't believe these people. Look at these idiots. Oh, my goodness, I can't believe. What? Can you believe they said that? We're yoked by rage. Some of us are yoked by confusion. We're being pulled along by like, I don't know. So what about this? What about this? Oh, and what if I try it this way? Oh, what if I try? You want to look back at the line you've been plowing behind you because you've been yoked by confusion? Jesus said, I want you to take on my yoke because it's easy and it's light. Today, I'm hoping that some of you guys become unyoked by a burden that you've stopped feeling the weight of. Why would Jesus use this analogy of being yoked to something else? Because he knows that we are connected to, at a soul level, things that drive us or pull us or can lean us in one direction or the other. And he says this is the solution to be yoked by fear or yoked by rage or yoked by confusion. It's my rest that I'm giving to you as a gift. And that gift today I want to talk about is a weekly rhythm of rest. The series we've been talking about is the rest of God. Last week we looked at the momentary rest that any moment you're in, you can invite God into, and it becomes an eternity where you can step into his rest. In a couple weeks, we're going to talk about the rest in a yearly rhythm. We're going to talk about rest in eternity. But today I want to talk about a weekly rhythm of rest that God designed called Sabbath. Sabbath is, our working definition today, is a 24-hour period of time in which we stop all work and set aside the day to rest, to delight, and to worship. The Hebrew word Sabbath is Shabbat. It means to cease, to stop, or to be done. To be done. I don't know if you ever thought about this, but why do we have a 7-day work week? Why is there 7 days in our week? It's the only rhythm of our calendar that it's not connected to observable forms of nature. Our day, our 24-hour day, is dictated by the Earth's rotation. It's spinning in the sky. Sun comes up, sun goes down, day begins, day ends. Our month is dictated by the lunar calendar, the lunar rhythm. Our year is connected to the Earth's rotation around the sun, but the day, the week, why are there 7 days in a week? It's a God-instituted rhythm. Every civilization, as far back as we can see in recorded history, has governed themselves by a 7-day work week. The last time somebody tried to change it was during the French Revolution in the 1700s. They said, we're going to go to a 10-day work week. They said productivity is going to go up. They attempted to de-Christianize their society. What happened? Productivity went down. Suicides went up. Mental illness went up. Maybe God knew what he was talking about. I love this quote by H.H. Farmer. When you go against the grain of the universe, you get splinters. What are the splinters? When we go against the rhythm, the God-instituted rhythm that he's given us. Burnout, stress, weakened immune system, brain fog, strained relationships, distance from God. These are just a few of the splinters because we are yoked to something that is not of him. C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity said, nearly all that we call human history, money, poverty, ambition, war, prostitution, classes, empire, slavery, is the long, terrible story of man trying to find something other than God which will make him happy. We try our hardest to do it any other way than his. That's our sinful nature. But what if we step back and said, okay, maybe he understood the rhythm in which he created us to live. Exodus chapter 20 gives us the 10 commandments that we know. I want to read this one, fourth commandment today. Exodus 20 verse 8 says, remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male, or your female servant, nor your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns. Verse 11, for 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. But he what? Rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Some of you guys are like, well, look, PC, I'm too busy. My to-do list is too long to take a Sabbath. Your to-do list is too long to take. Let's look at the Lord's to-do list. On 6 days, he made the heavens. Hang on, so what's on your to-do? You gotta get those keys cut. You gotta mow the grass. Whoa, that's a lot. God made the heavens and the earth. What's on your to-do list? You gotta go. You gotta run to the store. You gotta stop by Marshall's. They got a sale. You just gotta go do the thing. I got this graduation party. I gotta go. Pastor, God made the heavens and the earth and the sea and how many days did he do it? It's 6, yeah. God's to-do list is just a little bit bigger than yours and he got it done in 6 days. By word count, this commandment is the longest of any of the others. If I were to count the words of all the 10 commandments, it actually is about 37% of the 10 commandments. More than a third of emphasis put it on this one command. Now, some of us have looked at the 10 commandments as a list of do's and don'ts. Could it be not a law as in you'll get a ticket if you break the law? What if it's a law as in the laws of physics like gravity, that if you fight against it, you will lose? Because here's the reality. We're losing. And we think that we have a better way than God does. Or maybe it's just a 7-day amnesia that we forgot that when we didn't rest, that we were exhausted the next day and the day after that and the day after that. And by the time Sabbath comes around when we should be working or celebrating and stopping in this Sabbath, we've forgotten the pain that we went through the week before when we didn't do so. Whatever the reason is, we're losing the battle against the law that God has imprinted on the universe and the human soul. Now, when Jesus comes along and he's doing stuff on the Sabbath, the Pharisees are like, whoa, you can't do that on the Sabbath. And he's like, look, the Sabbath was created for man, not man for the Sabbath. It's a gift that God gives you. And all of us who've broken that command have said, God, I don't want your gift. Did you keep the receipt? You can take that back. So how do we practice a Sabbath? Practical Sabbath will give you 4 steps today. We're going to go through all of them. The first is stop, rest, delight, and worship. Number 1, stop. To have a practical Sabbath, we need to learn to stop. God created in 6, and he stopped his work, rested, he ceased. We work for 6, and we're created to stop for 1. A full 24-hour period. Now look, which day doesn't matter. I don't think if you rested all day Thursday because that worked best for your schedule, God's not going to be like, oh, so close. It's not the right one. When we get to heaven, I don't think he's going to send us to hell because we picked Monday as our Sabbath day. I don't think that's the case, okay? It's a 24-hour period. Pick one, whichever one works for you. We celebrated our house Friday night sundown to Saturday sundown is our Sabbath day. Sunday for me is a work day. So Saturday is my Sabbath. I do my best to not answer email, Slack. I'm not checking messages and doing anything that would normally considered work for me. I work at a desk, so I'm typing a lot. I'm not writing any books. I'm not studying for my sermon. I'm putting all that stuff down. I've learned to stop. Now, it takes a lot of effort to learn how to stop that type of work. Maybe your work's different. You do something different with your hands. Learning to stop is the first part of living a practical Sabbath. Now, here's the thing, and this is going to be the price of admission today. We don't stop when we're finished. We are finished when God says stop. Because too many of us think I'll stop when it's all done, when it's finished. Here's the reality. It will never be finished. There will always be more to do. So God liberates us from the tyranny, the taskmaster of our to-do list and says, hey, you don't have to be done. You just be done when I say you're done. When it's time to stop, you stop. And guess what? The list will be there when you start again. So we need to learn the rhythm of obeying God by ceasing like he did. Now, to have a really good day of stopping, you need to learn how to slow down, because what's the third light in our traffic system? Green means go, right? Paw Patrol taught me that. There's a red light. Red means stop. But there's a yellow light in the middle. And I know some of y'all criminals out there, you see the yellow, you just keep going. It means go faster. And if you've ever followed me and I went fast through a yellow light, the Lord hath need of me to get to my place. So, Jesus will understand. Okay. Yellow means stop is coming. Stop is coming. Actually, in the Jewish rhythm, before they break on the Friday evening, Friday is their preparation day. It's the day where they're living out the yellow light. They're like, hey, I'm getting ready to stop, but there's a bunch of things I need to do before I can stop. I got to go grocery shopping. I got to prepare my meals. I got to answer all my texts and emails because I'm about to turn my phone off for 24 hours. Anybody do all 7 days with at least 1 hour? Whoa, this is great. I had one in the first service. This is good. It's a smattering. Anybody make it 6 days? Six? 5, 4, 3, 2. Did anybody do at least one day? So you guys are just... I won't call you out, Jake. But you were like, so. I see that hand. Well, guess what? You have a brand new week to fulfill the challenge, okay? All right. It was tough, though. Hey, did anybody feel it was very difficult, right? I mean, as soon as I went, I was like, I gotta turn this thing off. But what if they text me? I'm gonna miss it. Oh man, this is dangerous. I don't know if I could do that. Wasn't it just like a whole bunch of stuff going on, right? That tells you how tied, how enslaved we are to these little boxes in our pockets. Crazy. Preparation day. You might need to answer some emails and some Slack messages, some texts, and to prepare yourself for a 24-hour period. It's a preparation day. Maybe you need to do your cleaning on the preparation day before you stop. Maybe there's some things that you need to do before you get there. It's a yellow light day, preparation day, because stop is coming. Stop is coming. Number 2, first is we got to stop. Number 2, we got to learn to rest. Rest. Now, this is tough for many of us. If you did more than one day without your phone, the first time you did for that hour, the first 30 minutes might have been like just anxiety-inducing, all this turmoil going inside. The second day you did it, it might have been a little bit easier, or the second half of that hour got a little bit easier. Rest is not something we fall into easily. It does take a little bit of work because there are forces that are fighting against you resting. There are external forces. TV, when we turn it on, it's a break from work, but it's not rest from work. Because it's not pouring into you, it's actually drawing out of you something. Your attention, your emotions. Social media, you might just be doom scrolling, you're not doing work, but it's not restful because it's drawing out, it's subtracting from your soul. It's external forces, TV, social media, our phone just in general, shopping, social obligations like weddings and birthdays and graduations and sports and weekend work and chores and errands and people just in general. These are things and forces that are drawing from you, actively resisting you to rest. I'm gonna give you permission to take a break from, pick 3 of these obligations or forces that are fighting you from rest and take a break from them. Maybe you're like, hey, I ain't coming to your graduation party. Thanks, PC. Here's a card. My pastor says I can't come. Take a break. There's forces that are fighting you from resting. There are also internal forces resisting rest. These are things like accomplishment. You're so addicted to accomplishment that to take 24 hours from checking something off your list, it feels like misery. You're addicted to it. It's an internal force fighting you from resting. FOMO. Maybe all the people are going somewhere and they're doing something and you're so scared to miss out on the experience that you obligate yourself to do a thing that you know is not going to be restful for you, but you just don't want to miss out on what everybody else is doing. It's fighting you. It's keeping you from resting. The fear of man. Will you put a reminder or a thing on your email, an autoresponder? Hey, I take a break from my phone for these 24-hour periods. You're worried what your boss is going to think because you put an autoresponder on. You're too scared to Sabbath because you don't want your boss to be disappointed in you, or your neighbor to say, well, I don't understand why you can't this or why you can't that. You're so scared. The fear of man has driven you from rest. Boredom. As soon as I started talking about a 24-hour period, your legs started shaking. You were already like, how long? You're so scared to death to be bored, like you're going to fall asleep. God forbid you take a nap. Be bored. Fight the forces of your rest. Number 3, delight. Delight. If I were to say to you, hey, do not think of an orange, a juicy, sweet, navel orange. Do not think of whatever you don't. We're thinking of oranges, right? It's impossible to not do that. The Bible actually doesn't tell us to not do something. It employs something called ratherism. That's the name I just gave it. Ratherism. Don't do this, but rather do that. If I said, hey, don't think of an orange, think of pink elephants instead. Rather, think about this giant, huge pink elephant with floppy ears. He's making noise. His trunk's going around. Orange is the last thing on your mind. I mean, it might be still in the distance in your brain. The Bible says, hey, don't just stop doing this. Rather, do that. So it doesn't say just stop from your work on Sabbath. Rather, delight in God and his creation. And the stuff that's around you that he created. Sabbath was created for you as a gift to delight in him. Celebrate, eat, drink, listen to music, laugh, spend time with friends and family. I'll give you a list of some things that you can do to delight in God's creation. Make pancakes. Open a good bottle of soda or whatever your Christian liberty allows. Have a dance party. Play some music. Get coffee with your best friend. Make love to your spouse. Come on, number 6, right? That was a very hearty, manly amen. That's the loudest I've heard in a long time. Take a walk. Nap. Eat some delicious food. Go do your nails or your favorite self-care. Go fishing, surfing, swimming. Go to the range. Be in nature, watch a sunrise or a sunset, make a fire, read some fiction or poetry, sing, go to an art museum, go on a picnic in a park, play a game, call a friend or family member who lives far away. God did not create you as robots to produce. He created you as an image of himself to rest and delight in the creation that he has put around us. Go delight in the Lord and the gifts that he's given us all around us. One of the greatest things you could do to honor him is to honor the day he gave you as a gift and the creation that he populated in that day. Go delight in the Lord. When we begin our Sabbath, and actually for millennia, people have been doing this, to begin that Sabbath 24-hour period, we do something called a Shabbat meal or a Sabbath meal. And this Sabbath meal is an opportunity at the Lockamy House. We'll sometimes gather with family and friends, and we join together and we eat, we celebrate, we share some wins and some losses, and man, we have a good time and celebrate. There's actually a very strong tradition of this that's called a Shabbat. And you could do a ton of research on it. In fact, we created a guide that if you wanted, you could follow. I put it on the website, epicbaltimore.com/downloads. You could find this up there. Here's some things to do in a Shabbat meal. Light some candles. The tradition of this is like, hey, I'm not gonna do any work and turn lights on. You know, some Jewish friends are hey, this is work to flip that on. And they're like, we're gonna light candles now and let this light just permeate through the house. It actually is a sign of creation. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And he separated the light from the dark. It's a reminder of the light of Christ. Read a psalm or a liturgy like this, and you could go as deep or as shallow as you want in this type of stuff. Bless the kids if they're there. I love this, being able to bless all my children. Because guess what? I forget in the busyness of life. It's my job as the priest of my home to speak blessing over the people that God has given me to steward. In fact, we bless the children, we bless everybody at the table, then we actually read through the Psalm or Proverb 31 about the virtuous woman, and everybody takes a verse and we read it together, and we bless all the women at the table, just being the beauty and the creation of God. Oh, it's awesome. Pray, feast, Share highlights of the week. Share what you're grateful for and some prayer requests and celebrate. We also take communion in here. Hebrew culture, they have the bread and the cup, but we know the fulfillment of those is in Christ, right? As the Passover lamb, we take communion together. It's beautiful. Do your own version. This is not a law that you're going to break and you get a ticket, right? This is a gift. But until you got a better idea, do the one that's been working for a while, okay? It's delight in the Lord. Fourth and final, if we're going to take a practical Sabbath, we got to worship. This is what elevates the Sabbath from a regular day off, a day of fun and a day of rest. This is what makes it holy. And what is worship? Worship is just receiving the love of God and giving it back to him. When you make pancakes and you're just chowing down on that number one, you're like, God, thank you for taste buds. Woo. You know, he didn't have to give you taste buds, right? God, thank you for man, good music. God, thank you for just awesome, man, thank you for friends. Thank you for laughter. You're receiving the love of God through creation and giving it back to him. It's a couple ways you can worship. One, through prayer. And this version of prayer is not asking the Lord to do something for us. Ironically, in Orthodox Judaism, that's called work. Travailing before the Lord for him to act, that's called work. Prayer, on the other hand, being like celebrating God. Read a psalm like the 23rd Psalm. Psalm 103, Psalm 105, where it's just loving on him. Great are your deeds, O Lord. All of heaven and earth celebrate you. The trees wave their branches to you. This is their worship. The sea, the waves of the sea are clapping their hands at your majesty. That type of prayer. Pray, worship music. Maybe you make a commitment for the 24-hour period of time. You're not going to listen to any other music than worship music. It matters. It matters. I'm going to say there's not a lot of other good music that's out there, but you're going to take a break from Steely Dan for 24 hours. No Pink Floyd. I don't know why I'm picking on like these 70s bands. No Miley Cyrus or whatever it is you guys listen to. Just worship music for 24 hours. If you're listening to music at all, just to feed your soul and to churn in you a gratitude for your Creator. And then lastly, journaling. We're leading a next level freedom group, and we talk a lot about journaling in it. And journaling is praying through your pen, praying through the pen. I try to pray and journal every day. I don't always get there every day, but when I start to journal, I'm usually just processing my thoughts. We had a meeting yesterday, it went pretty good, this happened. I was really pleased with this. It's just sort of just processing the day before. But no matter how I start the page, I always end the page writing to Jesus. So I'm just so thankful that you were with me yesterday. I'm just so grateful that you put these awesome people around me. God, I'm so grateful for my kids and my wife. I'm so thankful for your blood. It doesn't matter how I start. I always end talking to him. It's a great way of cultivating a worshipful heart. Worship. So here's my challenge to you guys. I'm giving you 2 challenges today. Number 1, I want you to practice the Sabbath this week. You're going to find a 24-hour period of time, maybe as a couple. If you have your significant other here, you guys are agreeing together what day you're going to do it. If you have only yourself to kind of worry about, pick one that's going to work that you know you're going to be able to honor and keep it. Now look, you might stumble, you might fail, you might start answering an email, you'd be like, oh, I forgot. It doesn't negate all that you just did. Just pick back up where you left off. Commit to the 24 hours before Jesus. That's challenge number 1. Challenge number 2. I want you to find some people to have a Sabbath meal with this Good Friday. In my mind, I imagine a cool moment where we as a church, we're all gathered in different homes around different tables, and where we're sharing a meal together. And maybe at that meal, you're reading through the final days of Christ's life, and when he's before Pilate and he goes to the cross, and then when they find the empty tomb. And imagine on that Good Friday, we're joined together in our faith and in our heart. We're celebrating what he's done. We're grieving with him in this dark day of Good Friday, but we also have anticipation. Sunday's coming. So maybe you're here and you need to find someone to share a table with. That's what the lobby's for. Maybe you're one of those people, you're like, I don't have any friends at church. I have no good relationships at church. But maybe you're also the person that when the MC gets up here and says, have a great week, you're like Usain Bolt to the parking lot. I don't know why I don't have any good friends at church, because you're a sprinter champion between this row and your car. Slow down. Go meet somebody in the lobby. You got to employ little people skills, you know? Or maybe you're here and you know there's a person in this room that's not going to have a table to sit at. Take the responsibility and go invite them. Hey, we'd love to have you at our house for this Sabbath meal, Good Friday. Would you join us? And it doesn't have to be extravagant. You can pick up Chipotle. I don't care. It's the togetherness. It's the heart that matters. It's challenge 1. We're going to pick 24 hours. We're going to do it this week. Challenge 2. Start the preparation process to share a Sabbath meal with some friends. One more quote and we'll close today. Walter Brueggemann, he wrote a book called Sabbath as Resistance, Saying No to the Culture of Now. He said this way, people who keep Sabbath live all 7 days differently. You want to walk in the rest that Jesus promised? The discipline, the habit, the obedience of learning to live one day as if He's the one that keeps the sun going. That He's the one that still provides you breath in your lungs. He's the one who keeps everything moving and doesn't need us at all, but invites us to partner. When you learn to live one day that way, you will learn to live all 7 days that way. There's a verse in Deuteronomy 6. It says that one day when your kids ask you why you follow these rules and these laws, when they ask you why do we are so strict about taking this time off, it says what you're to tell them is that because long before you were around, I was a slave. Long before you were born, I was a slave in Egypt, and I didn't have a choice of when I could take a day off. Long before you were born, I was enslaved to fear and to rage and to confusion. Long before you were born, I was beat up and wore out. But God freed me, and He gave me liberty. How? Because He went to the cross and took on my sin and shame and all the earning that I needed to do to find freedom. He went to the cross so that I didn't have to. And so now when I take on His yoke, oh, it's easy. Because He went to the cross so I didn't have to. He paid the price so I didn't have to. He died so I could live. Let's take a posture of prayer, heads bowed, eyes closed across the house today.